The hardest working people you know are probably broke. That sentence should make you uncomfortable because it's statistically true, and nobody wants to admit what it actually means. We've been sold this story our entire lives, that effort equals reward, that grinding harder leads to wealth, that dedication and discipline are the secret ingredients to financial success. Except the numbers tell a completely different story, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Someone working 60 hours a week as a teacher, nurse, or construction worker will earn less in their entire lifetime than someone who inherited a stock portfolio and does absolutely nothing except watch it grow. That's not opinion, that's math. And the system that creates this outcome isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. Labor income gets taxed at 37%. You work. You earn a paycheck. The government takes more than a third before you even see it. Meanwhile, someone earning the exact same amount through long-term capital gains pays a fraction of that rate. They're making identical money, but because one person worked for it and the other owned assets that appreciated, the worker gets penalized. The tax code literally charges you more for effort than it does for ownership. Here's where it gets darker. Just 0.5% of taxpayers, the ones earning $1 million or more annually, capture over 70% of all long-term capital gains and 43% of all dividends. The people making under $40,000, they get 0.4% of capital gains and 1.2% of dividends. The system isn't giving lower tax rates to investment income because it's fair. It's giving lower tax rates to investment income because the people who benefit from those rates are the ones with enough influence to keep it that way. You've probably heard about working smarter, not harder. That phrase exists because someone figured out that hard work alone is a losing strategy. The wealthy don't work harder. They work differently. They understand something most people never learn. Money you earn from a job gets taxed heavily and stops the moment you stop working. Money you earn from assets keeps flowing whether you're awake or asleep, and the government takes a smaller cut. This is why someone can own a portfolio of dividend-paying stocks or real estate investment trusts and generate income without lifting a finger while paying lower taxes than the person grinding 50 hours a week at 2 jobs. It's not about effort, it's about structure. The system rewards ownership and penalizes labor, which means the harder you work at a traditional job, the further behind you fall compared to people who figured out how to make money work for them instead. Think about what happens when you get a raise. You're excited because you're finally earning more, except now you're in a higher tax bracket, so a bigger percentage disappears before you see it. Meanwhile, someone with investments watches their wealth compound year after year, and because they're not selling, they're not triggering capital gains taxes. They're getting richer while paying less. You're working harder while paying more. There's even a strategy the ultra-wealthy use called buy, borrow, die. They buy assets that appreciate, borrow against that wealth to fund their lifestyle, and never sell anything, which means they never pay capital gains taxes. When they die, their heirs inherit everything at a stepped-up basis, erasing the taxable gains entirely. They live lavishly, avoid taxes, and pass wealth to the next generation without the government ever getting its full cut. That's not a loophole. That's the system working as intended for people who understand how it actually operates. And if you're still trading hours for dollars, you're not even playing the same game. So what does this actually mean for you? It means the path to wealth isn't working more hours or climbing the corporate ladder faster. Those strategies keep you locked in the exact system designed to extract maximum value from your labor while minimizing your ability to build real wealth. The game isn't about earning more through work, it's about transitioning from earned income to passive income as quickly as possible. Real estate investment trusts let you own pieces of apartment buildings and commercial properties without becoming a landlord. You're not fixing toilets at 2 a.m. or dealing with tenants. You're collecting income from professionally managed properties, and that income gets taxed at rates lower than your paycheck. Index funds tracking the S&P 500 give you ownership in hundreds of companies simultaneously. While you sleep, those companies are generating profits, and you own a slice of every dollar they make. Dividend stocks send you checks regularly just for holding them, rewarding ownership instead of effort. But here's what nobody tells you about starting this transition. You can't build wealth through passive income while you're drowning in consumer debt. Credit card balances charging 20% interest will obliterate any returns you might earn from investments. You're trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is wide open. The math doesn't work. Before you can play the wealth-building game, you have to stop actively losing at the debt game. This is where it gets psychologically difficult because fixing your financial foundation isn't sexy. Paying off debt doesn't generate Instagram content. Maxing out a Roth IRA doesn't impress anyone at parties. Living below your means while investing the difference requires you to look average while building wealth invisibly. And most people can't handle that cognitive dissonance. They'd rather look rich than be rich. Delaware statutory trusts offer another path, letting you invest in large-scale real estate projects that were previously only accessible to institutions. You're pooling resources with other investors to own medical buildings and industrial complexes, collecting passive income while professionals handle everything. The barrier to entry keeps dropping while the tax advantages remain significant. Understanding this system doesn't make it fair. America's tax code barely qualifies as progressive, and there's massive room for reform to address wealth inequality. But awareness of how the game actually works gives you a choice. You can keep playing by rules that guarantee you'll lose, or you can learn the rules the wealthy already know and start playing differently. The system rewards those who shift from selling their time to owning income-producing assets. It's not about working smarter in the motivational poster sense. It's about recognizing that the entire structure of taxation and wealth accumulation favors ownership over labor, then making the deliberate choice to become an owner instead of remaining solely a worker. Most people spend their entire lives trading hours for dollars, wondering why they never get ahead while watching others accumulate wealth seemingly without effort. The difference isn't intelligence or work ethic, it's understanding that the wealthy don't earn money the same way you do, and they definitely don't pay taxes the same way you do. Once you see how the system actually operates, you can't unsee it. And once you understand it, you have to decide whether you're going to keep playing a game you can't win, or learn to play the game that's actually being played. The choice has always been yours, but nobody explained what you were actually choosing between. Now you know why hard work alone keeps you poor, and you know what the wealthy do differently. What you do with that information determines whether you spend the next decade complaining about a rigged system or quietly building wealth within it.